Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today we're now going to be reading 2nd Chronicles 23 and Nehemiah 2. So I'm just going to quickly get into it and read from verse 1. In the 7th year of Jehoiada showed his strength, he made a covenant with the commanders of units of 100. Azariah son of Joram, Ishmael son of Jehonan, Azariah son of Obed, Maaseiah son of Adaiah, and Elishaphat son of Zerchah. They went throughout Judah and gathered to the Levites and the heads of Israel families from all the towns. When they came to Jerusalem, the whole assembly made a covenant with the king of at the temple of God. Jehoiada said to them, "The king's son shall reign, as the Lord promised concerning the descendants of David. And this is what you are to do. A third of you priests and Levites who are going to duty on the Sabbath are to keep watch of the doors. A third of you at the royal palace, and a third of the fountain gates, and all the others to be in the courtyards of the temple of the Lord. No one is entered the temple of the Lord except the priests and Levites on duty. They may enter because they are consecrated, but all the others are to observe the Lord's command to not enter. The Levites are to station themselves around the king, each with a weapon in hand. Anyone who enters the temple is to be put to death. Stay close to the king wherever he goes." The Levites and all the men of Judah did as just Jehoiada the priest ordered. Each one of theirs each one took his men, those who were going on duty on the Sabbath and those who were going off duty, for Jehoiada the priest had not released any of the divisions. Then he gave the commanders of the units 100 and spears and large and small shields. Then he belonged to King David, and they were in the temple of God. He stationed the men, each with a weapon in his hand, around the king near the altar and the temple, from the south side to the north side of the temple. Jehoiada and his sons brought out the king's son and put the crown on him. They presented him with a copy of the covenant and proclaimed him. They anointed him and shouted, "Long live the king!" When Athaliah heard the noise of the people running and cheering with the king, then she went to them at the temple of the Lord. She stood, and there was the king standing by his pillar at the entrance. The officers and the trumpeters were beside the king, and all the people of the land were rejoicing and blowing trumpets. The musicians with their instruments were leading the praises. Then Athaliah tore her robe and shouted, "Treason, treason!" Jedaiah the priest sent out the commanders of hundreds of thousands who were charging all the troops and said to them, "Bring her out between the ranks and put to the sword anyone who follows her." For the priest had said, "Do not put her to death at the temple of the Lord of the house. Did not put it at the temple of the Lord." So they seized her, and she reached the entrance of the Yahweh's gate and on the palace grounds, and there they put her to death. Jediah then made a covenant that he, the people, and the king would be the Lord's people. All the people went to the temple of Baal and tore it down. They smashed the altars and the idols and killed Matan, the priest of Baal, in front of the altars. Then Jediah placed the oversight of the temple of the Lord in the hands of the Levitical priests, to whom David had made assignments in the temple to present the burnt offerings of the Lord as written in the law of Moses, were rejoicing and singing as David had ordered. He also stationed gatekeepers on the gate of the Lord's temple, so that no one who was in any way unclear might enter. He took with him the commanders of hundreds, the nobles, the rulers of the people, and all the people of the land, and brought the king down from the temple of the Lord. He went to the palace through the upper gate and seated the king of the royal throne. All the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was calm, because Athaliah had been slain with the word. Amen. Now we read Nehemiah 2, and I read from verse 1. In the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, one wine was brought for him. I took the wine and gave it to the king. I had not been sad in this presence before. So the king asked me, "Why does your face look so sad when you are not ill? This cannot be sadness of the heart." I am very much afraid, but I said to the king, "May the king live forever. Why should my face not look sad when the city where my ancestors are buried lies in ruins, and the gates have been destroyed by fire?" The king said to me, "What is that? What is it you want?" I prayed to the Lord of I prayed to the God of heaven, and I answered the king, "If it pleases the king and if your servant had found favor in his sight, let him send me the city in Judah, where my ashes are buried, so that I can rebuild it." Then the king, with the queen sitting beside him, asked, "How long will your journey take, and when will you get back?" It pleased the king to send me, so I set the time. So I set the time. I also said to him, "If it pleases the king, may I have the letters to the governors of Trans-Euphrates, so that they will provide me safe conduct until I arrive in Judah, and I made and I may and may I have a letter to Asaph, keeper of the royal park, so that he will give me timber to make beams for the gates of the citadel, by the temple, for the city wall, and for the residence I will occupy." And because the gracious hand of my God was on me, the king granted my request. So I went to the governors of Trans-Euphrates and gave the king's letter. The king had also sent army officers and cavalry with me. When the Sabbaths and the Hona and Tobiah Marad came and heard about this, they were very much disturbed that someone had come to promote the welfare of the Israelites. I went to Jerusalem, and after staying there 3 days, I set out during the night with a few others. I had told anyone what my God was had put in my heart to do for Jerusalem. There were no miles with me except the ones I was riding on. By night, I went out through the valley gate toward the Jackal Well and the Dung Gate, examined the walls of Jerusalem, which had been broken, and its gates, which had been destroyed by fire. Then I moved on toward the Fountain Gate and the king's pool, but there was not enough room for my mount to get through. So I went up to the valley by night, examining the wall. Finally, I turned back and re-entered through the valley gate. The officials did not know where I had gone or what I was doing, because as yet, I had said nothing to the Jews or the priests or nobles or officials or any others who would be working, doing the work. Then I said to them, "You see the trouble we are in? Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace." I had also told them about the gracious hand of my God on me, and that what the king had said to me. They replied, "Let us start rebuilding." So that they began this good work. But when Sanballat the Horonite, Tobiah and the Ammonite official, and Geshem the Arab heard about this, they mocked and ridiculed us. "What is this you are doing?" They asked. "Why are you rebelling against the king?" So I answered them by saying, "The God of heaven will give us success. We, his servants, will start rebuilding. But as for you, you have not shown Jerusalem or no claim in historic right to it." Amen. Glory be to the Most High God. Once again, in the next video, I'll probably do that a bit later, but I will cover everything. So just bear with me and just wait, I guess, if you are seeing this. But yeah, God bless, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.